Okay. Dobre? The stream is online? Okay. Wherever you want. First row. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can sit because Nico is going to come first, say a couple of words, and then Nico is going to call you, and then kick it off. Okay, thank you. Willkommen, liebe Freunde. We're starting off, so please, can you join us? Val, can you please ask the people to join us inside? Okay, so how's everybody feeling today? Oh, such enthusiasm. I guess we're gonna serve coffee and Red Bull a little bit later. Okay, we're starting off in a couple of seconds, couple of minutes. Is everybody online here? Javier, Juan Carlos, Mustafa, Ihsan, Werner, everybody's here. Very good. So, yes, we're gonna start. The stream is on. Hello, people of the internet. I wish you a very nice day, and hopefully you're gonna have some fun today. And I see Nikola here. Okay, so let's start. Can you close the door, please? So we have some privacy. So, everybody, welcome to the second edition, the fourth demo day of Starfleet. Every year we do something different. This year the venue is the same, the colors are the same, but everything is different. So congratulations, survived so far, and hopefully, you know, you learned something, you improved in the last couple of weeks. It was tough for us, but I see that it was quite tough for all of you. I don't want to, you know, talk too much. I just wanted to say that I think that every and each one of you have made a magnificent progress in the last 5 weeks. With some of you, I was quite worried at the beginning, but you picked up quite nicely. I would like to thank the online teams, especially the ones who were following us with the time difference, the guys from Venezuela, Juan Carlos, and then your colleagues, Ihsan, from Tehran. So I hope it was worthwhile, sleepless nights. So basically how this is going to work, my mic is gone. I need to move somewhere here. The schedule is, first we're going to do some talking a little bit to introduce again to the audience. We have a lot of people watching us online right now, so everybody who couldn't come to Sofia. I have a comment. So they said they were going to come next year if Sofia, you know, finds a sea somewhere very close to the city. But enough talking from me. Maybe Nico, you want to say a couple of words and say hi to everyone. Let's have a warm applause for Nikola, the CEO of Eternity Ventures. There you go.
Thank you very much. I honestly do not know what to say after you did pretty much the entire introduction, so thank you very much for that, Luca. Welcome everybody who's here with us online and on site. I'm very happy that everybody has come, and I'm very, very proud that this is the second batch that we're now going to decide who's going to move forward and who's hopefully going to build amazing applications on Eternity. It was a very interesting journey the second time, if I have to be honest, because this time we saw a lot of things that we did not expect after the first one. And here I would like to say special congratulations to all of the teams again, like Luca did beforehand, because it's incredible to see how much you can actually achieve in such a small amount of time. And whoever continues today, I'm very, very much looking forward to work with all of you. Special thanks, obviously, to my incredible team. I mean, Steffi, Elisaveta, Nicolina, Luca, Georgie, and everybody else. So special applause. Emin. The mic is going, okay. This time we have been able to invite incredible people from the community. I see Stefan Ganche from Launch Up here, Daniel Lommer, where are you? There, over there, also a very important person, and a lot of people who could not be here on site but have joined online. So please go ahead and do your best. and let's get this party started.
But before, I would like to introduce Emin Mahrt, the Chief Product Officer, with a couple of updates about the stage of eternity. Here you go.
Hello and welcome everyone. So the last time at the first demo day here in Sofia, actually there was no eternity blockchain. Into the light. We were basically in the state where we were promising a product the same way, and where we are still in the idea stage, the same way like many of you are. And our journey was also a long and hard one, and it was combined with like, let's call it like this, like a lot of organizational and work. So who am I? I thought we'd make it a little bit more funny. This is me in 2001. It was my first open source community that I attended and participated in. It was an online clan. We were playing games and we were organizing ourselves. And we had rules. These are the German rules. I found the screenshot because there's a Wayback Machine, and this is very embarrassing on the internet. And these rules of our clan back then was in 2001, being online 1 time per week, right? This was very important. Join the training. This was also very important for us. Everyone has 100% the same rights. The leader, which was me back then, only intervenes in emergency situations. We are a democracy. A communication program was important, voice over IP. Be friendly, don't cause trouble. Don't be unfriendly to other clans. So this was the rules in 2001. And we also put up some rules, but we also were able to get like quite a lot of clan members into the Eternity ecosystem. From very young people to very old people, from very junior people to very professional people. And we also, of course, we made ourselves a set of to-dos and things we want to achieve and milestones we want to catch. And one of the first was that we are in blockchain, and we have launched back then ERC20 token on Ethereum, but we had already lots of ideas in building applications, so we just did. We built some MVPs and proof of concepts on Ethereum. And within a year and a half, we were finally able to launch, which was on the 27th of November, close to midnight. And this is just 4 months ago, so we are still babies. But I'm extremely proud and happy to announce here on stage that the network is up and running and everything works as planned. But that doesn't mean that the work stops here, and this is also one of the reasons why we are organizing something like this, and the Starfleet and the demo day. This is just a graphic that is not coming from me, but from one of our developers, or a team of developers, who said, hey, we have to think about who is actually going to use the Eternity blockchain and why and how and what are the first steps and how do I get introduced. So they basically started to make a journey. They said, either you are a developer who hasn't touched blockchain yet, or you are a developer who has already done some stuff like we did on Ethereum and way back in time. So you first need to understand what is actually Eternity, what can you do with it, what are the special components and features. Then you want to be able to play around with those features. You know, you are not like going to set up your whole local development environment and spin up a node and understand all that. This is like really a big invest of time. First you want to know, you want to play around and experience. And when you decide that this is the right technology, the right universal blockchain protocol for your application, then you go one more step and you really start to professionally build your product. And finally, when you did all the testing and your product is ready, then you will deploy it on the main network and open it up for your users. And the very last little right thing in the corner there, this blue thing, is actually the applications. So we realize that we are still at the very beginning of our journey, also at Eternity and Eternity's product development. So we decided that we need tools, obviously. Without tools for developers, nobody can start to build. So we started with online IDEs to write smart contracts, but we have also built, or the community has built, professional tools to set up a local environment to really test and build upon Eternity. And the last time I was here, this was not possible. We had like a beta network, which not yet launched. We didn't have tools. We didn't have SDKs. We didn't have even error messages for smart contracts that failed, right? So it was pretty hard for the first batch to start developing. But they're doing it now, and also the first interfaces and standards pop up. There are standards how a wallet communicates with an app. There's basic tools that you visualize the data that is happening inside the blockchain. And there are now browsers where you can actually open an application, a blockchain application in a browser and start using it. And this is just a very short, like, cut through different teams in our current product ecosystem. And there are different SDKs. There's still a lot of development work going on the protocol level. We have the first applications popping up. We have, there are really great ideas and products and startups from the last year, which are getting on speed now. And I expect this year a lot to happen. This was a recent, not beautiful graphic, but important graphic. And I just want to point one more time to it because it's explaining what we are actually doing right now and where we are and why all this is so important and why there are so many people in this clan working on it. On the bottom here, you see the Eternity protocol. This is the big blue thing at the bottom. There are still features getting added to the Eternity protocol. Very amazing features, like, for example, generalized accounts, which we have just seen a pull request a couple of days ago on GitHub, which will allow you in the future to use different curves, different cryptography to sign transactions, for example. This will make it, this will open up Eternity blockchain to many other blockchains and use cases and interoperability in the future. Or the new virtual machine, which is also on the heavy development, which is improving the efficiency and the space that a smart contract takes on the blockchain by more than 20 times. And for a developer heart, this is absolutely amazing, and there are, like, again and again big parties going on and people are really enjoying what's happening there. But it also makes our life not easy, and it will also not make your development life extremely easy. Because in order to actually talk to a decentralized protocol like Eternity, there are modules that you need. There is a SDK, there are the wallets, there is something we call the middleware, which is helping you to ask questions that are already, where the answer is already known and the node doesn't need to be asked. And the same way we always have to improve the developer tools and the developer experience. And whoever builds on Eternity gives us feedback, or gives the whole community feedback, and helps us to improve this setup and makes it as solid and as good as somehow possible. So the current state of development here is that we are continuing with the protocol. We have a pretty fast improvements in the whole ecosystem, especially for developers, when it comes to tutorials, when it comes to tools to use it. We have the first applications that launched over in the past 2 months. And of course, we have many of you who are starting to interact and use the protocol. So I wrap it up with this. I'm also around here. I love to dive into technical problems and questions, so please hit me up whenever you want. And good luck.
Thank you very much, Emin. We're going to continue with the scheduled program. The first startup is called Homeport, aka Sat1. Zdravko, can you please join me on the stage? And I'm going to try to set up your presentation in a second. There you go. You have your mic ready, right?
Yep.
And 5, 4, 3, 2. There you go. Oh no, you have your.
Yeah, I'm using this one.
There we go. It's a full screen.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I'm Zdravko. I'm presenting Homeport, which is a decentralized global network to receive data from satellites. It's basically a spin-off project of the Sat1 initiative, a Bulgarian aerospace technology NGO, which was conceived during the design phase of the NGO's first satellite mission. And as a result, we set up a small team to work specifically on this project. So to begin with, what exactly are satellites? A lot of people are interested in space technology, but very few people actually realize that satellites themselves are basically the most ubiquitous vehicles that humans have put in space. In their very essence, all of them are a form of device that collects, gathers data, which then it has to transmit back to Earth. And for that purpose, we have to have the infrastructure to receive that data, then process it, use the proper analytics, and essentially value from it. Like pretty much every other technology, space technology used to be quite bulky, big, inaccessible, expensive 20 years ago, which is not exactly the case nowadays, because you have satellites that you can hold in your hand. Many commercial satellites are the size of a shoebox. They do quite a lot of work for the very little weight that they have. And as a result, we have quite a few satellites now orbiting the Earth and performing various functions. However, the accessibility that we have acquired over the past few years means that applications such as imaging is used in a huge variety of sectors, such as agriculture, urban planning, disaster management, atmospheric data for weather predictions, and connectivity satellites. All of these are basically exploding in demand, which is why for the next few years, estimates say that we should have at least 10,000 additional satellites launched, which is quite a big number. And that pretty much poses the question, what exactly part of the cost do we have as ground stations? Because building the satellite and launching it is pretty much a single-time cost, but having the ground station that you have to use to take that data, basically store it, analyze it, and make use of it, the ground station itself is a continuous operation. You have to staff it, you have technical maintenance, and in the end, you have all these expenses that run throughout the lifetime of the mission. Which is why you have something that has appeared that is called Ground Station as a Service. That is a third-party company that builds its own network of ground stations or contracts existing ground stations across the globe to essentially take the data from the satellite operator and then deliver it, allowing the satellite operator to maximize their investment into space vehicles themselves and spend far less on ground stations, thus allowing them to scale. But the problem with this is that it's a pretty much centralized model. That means that if your ground station as a service provider controls your ground station, controls your data storage, and controls pretty much every other aspect of how you get to that data, they control the price mechanics and plenty of other things that you may want to have control and maximize the efficiency of. which is how we imagine things to be. And this is how we got to the idea of actually setting up a self-sustaining ground station network, which essentially offers quite a few benefits in that it covers more frequencies, can be much larger because the stations themselves can join in without having to resort to a contract with a GSAS company and so forth. So basically that is where Homeport comes. Homeport allows these stations, especially radio amateur stations, of which there are thousands across the globe, to unite in a self-sustaining network and contract with the satellite operator directly, thus monetizing their activity, which means that they monetize their ground station capacity more efficiently, and the station operator may do this with far more control over what kind of data they have and how much they pay for it. Essentially, the Homeport network steps on the æternity blockchain technology, the cornerstone of which in this case are smart contracts, alongside oracles and state channels. As a basic layout, essentially this is a marketplace, which is our business model. It's fairly simple and elegant. It allows the satellite operator and individual stations within the network to connect to each other, and negotiate specific conditions on what data has to be received, which stations across which geographic locales have to be used, for how much time, at which frequencies. Something that allows far greater flexibility for the satellite operator, which in this case means that they can monetize, they can have far more flexibility in what they receive, how and when. And at the same time, the ground station operator monetizes all of this directly. And by doing so on the marketplace, the prices are far more competitive. And essentially, we we basically take a small fee of each smart contract, and that is as simple as it gets. We have a basic layout registration for both satellite operators and ground station operators, and we plan to enroll the full version of Homeport by next year. We already have interest from a satellite operator, a ground station network. We have satellite platform manufacturers' interest, and we're looking forward to basically complete this task and provide more space for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zdravko. We are open now for questions. We have a 20-second delay on YouTube, so we're going to wait for 20 seconds for this to come online to close it. But do we have any questions from the audience? Nico or anyone from the crew? Yes? No? So 12, 11, 10. Oh, we have one.
So a single data point doesn't mean anything, right? Like the value is in aggregation and like analyzing in bulk. So how do like ground stations coordinate to basically ship valuable packages of data?
Well, basically, it can work with a single station, but the problem is that the more the less stations you have, the less flexibility you have. When you have many stations, essentially you can schedule as many of these as you want, because as the satellite orbits the Earth, you can find the most efficient pattern on when to download your data from the satellite. And by having that option, essentially means you can schedule specific stations at specific points in time, thus allowing you to have the most efficient downlink schedule. So the schedule is coordinated by smart contract. When you have into the smart contract written, for example, over the next 24 hours, we want to have a station in Australia, a station in, for example, Central Asia, a station in South America. You schedule all of these stations, and essentially you have your downlink schedule. You negotiate the prices for which to effectuate that, and essentially each station uploads the data they have downloaded to a cloud, and the network can therefore, if you have several stations, backup stations, you can also verify if the data is correct. So basically you have all of these, the more elements you have in the network, the more efficient the whole service will be.
Thanks. My question would be that, so is there a centralized or decentralized place for verifying data sources, all the players, all the agents, or can I become an agent without what I would need to prove to become an agent in this system? Because it sounds it's a bit centralized to actually work.
You can either be a satellite operator which is how you register your satellites, you register all the elements, orbital elements of the satellites, the technical specifications. And from that point on, you basically can schedule on your own when you have the satellites to downlink. And if you want to become essentially a ground station operator, that is to monetize from the data, all you need is basically a receiver. It's not a small investment if it's in the higher frequencies, of course. But if you can essentially have a receiver, if you know the receiving protocols for the data, from that point on, it basically goes down to receiving the data that the client has requested. For example, the client requests imagery over a specific region of the planet. And essentially, the client it participates in the process of verifying if the data they have used is useful, if the data they have received is useful. And from also, in addition to that, if you have the data received from many points, like from many stations, you can also have corrections. If the data from one station is faulty, you can correct it with the data from other stations because of if the protocol is such that essentially enables, downlink through many stations, you can verify it like that.
So we have a question online. What about data storage, IPFS or something else?
Well, we plan to have it on a decentralized storage with the full version. However, initially it's going to be on a ready cloud solution. But the point is to allow completely decentralized storage and use, for example, something like IPFS in order to decrease the elements in which the system can fail, essentially, and to decrease dependence on centralized storage providers, like single company storage providers.
Okay, super. No more questions? Thank you very much, Homeport.
Thank you.
Warm applause, please. Next up is one of our remote teams. This is HayTax. HayTax, I'm going to put you on screen in a second. And HayTax is here. You want full screen or you want... Okay. Werner, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, so the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. So, hi, we are HayTax. We are a tax reporting tool for crypto traders.
Werner, your screen is blank. We cannot see it.
Okay, thank you.
This is called Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
We tested this twice. Okay, let's try again. Reset the clock, please. And it's still. Let me try something.
Okay. I think it has to do with my full screen mode. I'm gonna use just the preview mode in Node.
So let's restart. Please restart the clock. Werner, you have 5 minutes. There you go.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for the technical problems. So we are HayTax. We are a tax reporting tool for crypto traders. We, that is me. I am working in the intersection between tax law and computer science for the last 10 years. I developed software for the tax offices. I worked for another tax company that are doing a tax app with me together, Vladislav. He worked in other fintechs before. We met at TaxFix, where we were developing together this app solution. Also with us on board is Konstantin. He worked for an influencer marketing platform and for ChurchDesk. All of us have been into crypto for many, many years. And yeah, we are really passionate about crypto and also deep into technology and into taxes. So let's go a little bit deeper into the problem. Calculating taxes for crypto is really complicated. The crypto world and the tax world just don't really go together. So in one world, we emphasize decentralization, anonymous, and so on. In the other world, we want to have a proper reporting. We need all the data, and everything needs to be reported. Also, there's a lot of legal problems. Those depend on which country you are in, but the most often ones you hear about is the problem with the holding period. What's the actual purchase price, how to calculate that, what happens if you trade crypto to crypto, hard forks, airdrops, and so on. So there's a lot of different topics going on that you need to know about. Therefore, there's a lot of uncertainty, doubt, and especially the risk of punishment is, at least in Germany, 10 years. So if you do it wrong, for 10 years, the finance office can go back. If you think about it, that's the Genesis block of Bitcoin. And the most common used solution is still Excel. Yeah, if you think about your Excel sheets and how easy it is to like miss a row or slip with the formula or something, it's really not the best tool for something that critical. So what we are building is a easy-to-use tool that allows data imports, that automatically calculates the taxes for you, and that generates a tax report that you can add to your tax declaration. We already have an alpha version that we're currently rebuilding to have a better technical setup. We already have implemented the whole tax law and how to handle transactions. Now we're working on a couple of user experience topics, make it look nicer, have labels, information, and so on. Yeah, we want to focus on tax advisors as our first product because we realize that tax advisors have the highest willingness to pay. There is 96,000 tax advisors that we can reach out to if we have just the German market implemented. We are thinking that a tax advisor is willing to pay around 190 euro per month. And we just got another letter of intent today. So that is really something viable. Our vision is to go out in the world. So tax law is country specific. We, of course, not only want to focus on Germany, we have learned how to build a tax system, a tax software that can go international, and we want to apply this information, this knowledge to HayTax. And our vision is that we help all these millions of businesses out there who will in the future have crypto in their portfolio, who want to pay with crypto, their employees, their freelancers, or who want to accept crypto as a payment method. They also need solutions for their accounting. There is a couple of competitors on the market. On the US market, the most famous one is Libra. They already raised over 30 million. Then there is an Austria Blockpit, who was part of the 500 Startups accelerator program, really famous. In Germany, we have Cryptotask and coin tracking, which are both either not correct from a tax perspective or very complicated in terms of crypto tax. We recently had 2 weeks ago a pre-sale where we offered end users to buy a lifetime access, and we had in our meetup a conversion rate of 70%. Like really, people were throwing money at us. We limited that to, we just said we have only 20 pre-sale tickets available, and it's a one-time offer. And I think 90% were interested. The others just didn't have enough cash and wanted to pay with either crypto or with PayPal, which we did not accept at that time. So the demand is huge. We are already funded with a state program that gave us 85K that allowed us or helped us to develop the prototype, and that lasts till end of the year. At the moment, we are preparing our seed round, and we're looking for 1.5 million euro. This will help us to go on the market and prove that we have a product market fit. We are calculating with a runway from about 1.5 years, and we are also looking for access to the crypto community. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Werner. As usual, we're going to give 20 seconds to the YouTube people. And in the meantime, do we have any questions from the audience? Milan, you wanted to say? Oh, no, you're scratching your ear. So, yeah.
Hey, so how do you differ from your competitors?
Did you get the question?
How we differentiate from our competitors?
Yes.
Okay. So we are the only tool that is mainly focusing on tax advisors. There is nobody else out there who's working on a B2B product. All the other solutions that are currently on the market are focusing on the B2C market. Most of our competitors coming either from the portfolio management area, so they are oftentimes doing the calculations not very good or not correct, or they come from a very domain-specific area. So that is tax advisors who build their own tools. That means they look like tools who were built from tax advisors. We have a designer as part of our team. We are working actively with design thinking. We are talking to tax advisors, to our users already. So we really focus on the UI UX perspective to make it as easy as possible. And that's the thing where we hope that we can really stand out over our competitors.
Okay, another question?
I think this is a burning question for the majority of people here. How are you going to scale this into different countries when you have different regulatory frameworks and legal in every country?
Can you repeat it?
So how are you going to scale worldwide with different regulations, different rules, and different laws in every country?
Yeah, that is one of the core problems in this area. All our competitors are promising that they're going to be an international tax product at some point. We haven't seen any so far, which is understandable. The market is quite young. What most people are underestimating is the complexity of how to scale a tax product in other countries. Me and Vladislav, we were working at TaxFix before, and we did exactly that for TaxFix. So TaxFix is an app for doing your income taxes, like for simple use cases, and we were part of the team for internationalization. So we have built a tax CRM before. We learned how to abstract domain knowledge, like in our case, the transaction, from tax knowledge, how to build abstraction layers, and therefore be able to scale into other jurisdictions, tax law areas or countries.
Okay, another question, the bearded gentleman in the back.
Okay, thank you. My question is, how do you intend to use the Eternity network in your project? I didn't really get it from your presentation.
Did you get the question?
No.
So how do you plan to use Eternity network in your project?
Okay. We are completely off-chain. That is absolutely necessary for our product. Unfortunately, we are big fans of the blockchain, and we were thinking of implementing it in our product, but currently there is no really good use case. We have to be off-chain because we need to be a reporting tool that gets the data from all the sources. So if we have our own blockchain and we have our own token or something, then we basically build a perpetuum mobile where they're using the token for our product, and then they have to pay taxes on using that token again, and so on. So we have to be an off-chain solution.
Okay. And we have one from online, but it was answered, I guess, in this question. The question was, what particular feature of the Eternity stack is particularly important for your specific use case? So I guess with this we conclude. Thank you very much, Werner. Warm applause for HayTax. Moving on to the next one. The next one is called Abend, and they are physically here. As soon as I open up their presentation, give me 1 second. Abend. Present. Clicker is here. Mic. Oh, you have the mics. And can you start the clock? And go.
1, 2, 3. Hello. So we are Abend. We do on-site payments. The clicker is actually not working.
Okay. Give me a second.
Yep.
Now it should work.
Thank you very much. So, my name is Tim, I'm the CEO of the company, and my role in our clan is do marketing and sales. This is Björn, he's been successfully doing product development for the last 15 years. He's doing front end and UX, and this is Hendrik. He's our guy for the blockchain and cybersecurity. He did that for the last also 15 years, and he takes care of the back end. So, what have we done in the last years? We actually successfully built products for the event industry. We did our own ticketing system, and furthermore, we built the largest online marketing tool for events in Germany. Over the years, we were in contact with more than 4,000 business partners for the ticketing and marketing. Furthermore, we do our own concerts and festivals, and we have our own end-user app where people inform themselves about events. So what you can say, we know exactly the event industry, and through our partner net, we have direct access to more than 1 million event visitors per year. So let's talk about last year. Last year, we did the Panama Open Air Festival, which is a festival with more than 20,000 people on 2 days. And what we implemented there is a plastic token system. How did we do it? We put up a booth, and there you could exchange euros and get Panama dollars. So that's how we called it. And inside that booth, there was Björn, who looks actually really happy, but we had quite some problems. So what kind of problems do we have when you have a few 100,000 in cash in there? This was actually not our money. This was the money of our partners, especially our catering partners. So accounting actually was a huge mess. We had long waiting lines there. So we actually lost quite some money there. Plastic tokens can easily be forged. And obviously, as we knew the people in there, but cash can obviously be stolen. So why would a festival organizer like us implement such a system? Well, there's a huge lack of trust in the festival industry. We didn't trust our catering services to collect all that money. He obviously didn't trust us that much, but he trusted us more than his own personnel at the stands, because otherwise you can take out the cash. So we collected the money, but in total you can say there's a huge lack of trust in the industry.
And we're going to solve that. We're putting trust in the events and club industry. So, we're building a cashless on-site payment solution based on the Eternity blockchain. It's going to be a forgery-proof currency, and it allows for frictionless and real fast payments. And the big advantage is we have a high transparency of all the transactions happening at the festival. The system is going to work online and halfway offline, so that the users themselves don't have to be online all the time, which is a big problem at festivals. And every step along the way is going to be automated, so that you don't have to trust that many people in the chain of handling the money. Well, let's look at how it works in detail. We're going to build our own Abend smart contract based on the Eternity blockchain, and we're building real simple-to-use tools and software for the event organizers to put up their own currency. And in addition, we provide a festival wallet app and also an SDK which can be implemented easily into existing festival apps, and a wristband to connect with that system to allow for easy payments.
So actually this problem is not unique to festival. Probably all of you went clubbing already and woke up the next morning a little bit frustrated with these little plastic tokens in your pocket. So you can say that every little venue that uses these plastic tokens actually have their own little currency and faces exactly the same problem. So we're going to start first in Germany, because there are most of our partners, and these are the low-hanging fruits for us. So the low-hanging fruits actually are more than a 3 billion market for festivals and events in Germany. But we're not going to stop there. As a next step, we're going to further countries, and only for music events, we are facing a market of more than 30 billion euros worldwide.
Okay, so what really differentiates us from our competitors? First, we use crypto technology, and that allows for secure and especially verifiable transactions. And as Tim said, the partners don't trust each other. We can actually put the distribution of the shares before into the smart contract, so that's fixed. Nobody can change that. And we can have fast transactions because of scalable state channels, which are going to be implemented on the Eternity blockchain. And we can even charge your wallet online before, and that's going to be really secure. And it can be started, like it's an additional revenue stream for the event organizer, because he can already get payments before the show even starts. And our tokens are going to be able to be used at different venues and festivals.
So, can you click the next one? So the business model is really easy, or more or less the basic business model actually says we take 2.5% out of each transaction. And so what do we need? 200,000 euro, and that gives us a 40-month runway. First, to build a product for public beta, and then a product for, that is ready to scale. We furthermore need quite some legal advice, because legally it's quite a complex topic, and we're going to ramp up sales and marketing. So let's take a closer look at these first 8 months.
So in the next 2 months, we want to have our MVP ready, because then that's when our festival is, with a few thousand people who can already start using that technology as a first additional payment method. Afterwards, we take the next to refine product and include the hardware and finish work on our smart contract. Then we can take, after those 5 months, we're going to have an alpha ready. We can already implement at an external partner, and use the last 2 months of the year to move over to the Eternity mainnet, and especially sign the first partners to get ready for the 2020 festival season.
So within the last 4 weeks, we were able to build a prototype. This prototype is already running on Eternity blockchain testnet. You can see it right there. And imagine this would be on a wristband, and you only need a wristband to go out. Thank you very much.
For questions?
The same thing applies. 20 seconds for YouTube to kick in. Questions? Can you give me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So 20 seconds for YouTubers. Questions from the audience. I thought I saw a couple of hands coming up. If not, we only have 15 seconds left. Vince, you wanted to ask something? Can you pass the mic to Vince, and then the gentleman behind? Oh no, he's scratching himself. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't see any slides about the competition. So I'm curious how you look at that.
Yeah, there's quite some. There is some competition there. Yeah. I mean, quite some people probably were at festivals, and there are already centralized competition that are using these wristbands, like SimplyX, PurpleX, for example. And if you go a few slides back, I mean, what they are centralized. And I think Björn especially presented the differentiation to these competitions. So we are highly secure, verifiable, and especially this transparent distribution that you can actually check, like because it's a blockchain, that everything is correct, is what we can offer and differentiate to them.
And then, unlike the plastic tokens, I can sell my tokens again afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, the differentiation to plastic tokens is huge because, first of all, the money can't be stolen. Like, because you have no clue if somebody takes out 1,000 euro, there's no way you will notice it. Yeah, the accounting afterwards takes hours, not even days, and that is, I mean, a huge advantage.
Yeah. And you can't sell them before the event usually. You know, this system works online already, so you have revenue there.
Okay, thank you.
Another question there, one there.
Hey guys, as far as I understand, you're going to use the token for payments only. Then why don't you use just Eternity? They already have wallets. Maybe soon they will have this wristband, and I don't see efficient to make another token just for payments.
Okay, there's two things. That's also why the event organizer doesn't want to use cash himself. You have to have full control over all the revenue which goes through the system. And if you have a system which actually can sideline that, you have a problem with your accounting because you don't know where the money comes in. And the problem is, like, most of the contracts with gastro provider and whatever, they're going to be like, okay, we take 70% of the revenue, so you have to have like full transparency over that. And that could be difficult if you use just like Eternity or just like a regular blockchain.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, so you said this is a decentralized system, but every single event has its own coin. Who designed those coins? And yeah, it kind of feels like there is a centralized element in it.
Yeah, kind of. So
and MasterCard can do the same without coins, just e-money.
Yeah, so one important thing about decentralization is that there isn't just black and white. There's a whole spectrum in between. So we decentralize all the trust issues, right? So all the logic that we make, it's visible in our smart contract. So you don't have to trust us that we don't do anything shady. You can just see it in our smart contract. So all parties involved, the end users and the merchants and the festival organizers, know what they're up to. So we can't cheat. So even though it's kind of centralized in a bit because it runs through our one smart contract, it's public. So yeah, we can't be shady.
We have a question from online. Any particular challenges that you met implementing on Eternity so far? This is from Charles. Yeah, Charles.
Yeah.
Okay, everything was really smooth journey all the way through.
Yeah, actually, Emin is mostly right. There wasn't any big challenges. So we've used the Python and JavaScript Eternity SDKs, and there already is support for offline transaction signing, which we could leverage. So yeah, basically we were quite happy that we're using Eternity.
Yeah. Woohoo! Okay. So more questions from.
Like, what's the total size of the market of these festivals, and like what kind of a chunk you think you can grab in a year and in 5 years? Like, how big do you believe your business can become?
I mean,
do you do this just to go for partying, or really to make something big?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. How big can a business become? obviously there's no ceiling.
Is there any data of like in general there are like X festivals and there the money that they transfer on a festival are Y and we can grab Z out of it?
Yeah, I mean look at the festival and event market in Germany just alone. That's that number, and if you look at the market only for music events globally, that number. However, for us, that's a market where we say that's big enough, and we take actually from there the bottom-up approach. So how can we actually get a solution that should be used in 2020 festivals? And then what we would do is, okay, how many festivals can we close until December or until March, and take it up from there.
Yeah, but I think also that in that amount, big part of the money goes to like the entrance fees for tickets. So these numbers are not correct. I believe it's lower. But
it's really difficult to get exact numbers because like most festivals, they don't tell you their turnover at the event.
I think that if you're fundraising, you definitely need to deep dive a bit more into these numbers because otherwise
it's just from our own
kind of a idea, but like
just from our own experience, it's kind of like the same amount of money gets turned over at the festival itself that gets actually put into ticketing in the beginning. So I mean, there's a huge if you talk about like a day festival, the one we did here, we're just going and even spending more on the festival that they spent on tickets sometimes. So.
Yeah, I like that you choose the trust topic. So I'm looking forward for decentralized festivals too in the future, where people can work together and make money.
So if everything is open and auditable by everyone, what prevents a festival the next year from not doing it themselves? So what protects it?
Yeah. Well, it depends on really how we, I think that's the point we have to get to while we implement the smart contract is like who controls kind of like what the currency is going out. Of course, like somebody else can provide a similar system, but I think one thing to notice is once you have a system up and running, like, and we can provide the support, people are going to stick with a system that works.
So the quick, okay.
Okay, we have the last one from online, Charles Okagawa. What are the decentralized components of your architecture? It really looks from this side, use case can be done without the blockchain.
Yeah, you can do it without the blockchain, but then you haven't solved the trust issue at all. So if you just use a centralized Postgres database, then everybody still has to trust you. So it's even worse than before from some kind of use. So we store all the transactions on the Eternity blockchain. So you can verify that when you buy a beer and pay us that, yeah, we record this transaction on the blockchain. And then the merchant can verify that, yeah, or the merchant can prove that he received the money and we have to pay him later. So that's how we solve the trust issue. And yeah, we're not really centralized because, because we store all the transactions on the blockchain. So everything goes into the smart contract that is kind of centralized, but then it's stored decentralized on all the Eternity nodes.
Okay, thank you very much. Abend. And now for the grand finale. I'm just joking. We're going to have a short break right now. 10 minutes, grab something to drink or have a smoke. We're going to come back where we set up with the rest of the teams. So thank you, and we'll be right back.
trying hard to fall asleep. To fall asleep. I'm trying hard to fall asleep. I'm trying hard to fall asleep, to fall deep. I'm trying hard to fall asleep, to fall deep.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Okay, and we are back. So we're gonna give our internet people also a little bit of time to come back. And we're here. So actually I did a small mistake because Say was supposed to continue presenting, but yeah, they're gonna continue now. So we have Ehsan from Say joining us from Tehran. And I think you're ready, right? Can we test the sound?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I'm good.
Okay,
So
super.
let me share my screen.
Whenever you're ready, I'm going to put you in full screen. The same rules
Can you see
apply.
my screen?
We can see your screen, and you are on, my friend. You have 5 minutes, go.
According to UNICEF, more than 385 million children live in extreme poverty, which is surviving on an average of $1.90 a day per person. In addition, many organizations are helping children to survive, but not many are focused on child's development, education, and dreams. On the other hand, the way the NGOs are working needs to be changed because donors need to see where their money are spent and feel their impact. According to Gallup, people rather to buy food for a homeless person in the street than sending money to big campaigns because they want to see how their money is spent. From all donations made, only 60 to 70% goes to charitable activities, even though donors donate for a cause rather than organizations. Moreover, providing donors with a detailed report is not a feasible thing for NGOs and charities because it would increase the cost of human resources. But we can help. With our transparent platform, not only we can allow users to track their donations, see, feel their impact, but also we can help the children with their daily needs and give them the opportunity to pursue their dreams. Our platform would allow users to focus on the life of a specific child and help them grow while the users are tracking how they're improving a child's life. So this is how our app works. We are partnering with child welfare agencies. These agencies are responsible to work with the community, find the children in need, and support them. Agencies, social workers, registers, and regularly update the children's needs in our platform so users could match and virtually adopt a child who has similar personalities, wishes, trauma to our users. On behalf of every child that's matched to our users, a unique avatar is created to protect their identity. Users become the virtual parents of the child and take care of the needs of that specific child, from their daily needs, education, goals, and dreams. Users can invite their friends and family to get involved and become an uncle, aunt of that child, and create a virtual family and interact with other virtual families. So why we're so different? By implementing blockchain in our platform, every user can track the result of their donations and also focus on a specific child to put identifiable victim effect to work. Research shows people contributed more to a charity when their contribution would benefit a person that had already been selected from a list, then when told that person would be selected from that same list later. Last but not least, we create a network between virtual families, which allows the users to interact with other families. Every year, more than $400 billion is donated to charities, and 35% of it is donated for health, education, and humanitarian resources, which with our revenue models, donation tips, and affiliation marketing, we would get a market share of $14 billion. This is how we are making money. Every purchase users make for their children from our affiliate links, we receive a commission from online retailers, and also, like many successful crowdfund websites, we receive donation tips separately as well. We started a year ago, almost a year ago, but by December we had won the first prize and extended our team to 15 members and adopted a child ourselves. By end of March, we accelerated ourselves through Funder Institute, Æternity Accelerator Program, and signed contract with NGOs and got access to their users. We also managed to attract up to 100 early adopters to virtually adopt 10 children through our Concierge app. Today, we have a strong team and a well-developed website and app with 400 children ready for our platform to be supported and have access, and we have access up to 5,000 users. In the next 2 years, by partnering with NGOs and using online marketing channels for our primary market segments, the Generation X and the Generation Y, we will have a growth rate of 8 to 10% for users and 2% for adding children to our platform. We will have 500,000 users and up to 30,000 children on our platform by then. So this is our team with more than 10 years of management experience myself in both NGOs and IT sector. I'm confident that we have the right team to not only deliver our product on time, but also implement blockchain in our platform and gain traction with the mention rates. We have developers, designers to deliver the platform, and we have PR and marketers to be able to get users and children on our platform. We are asking investors to invest up to $300,000 in stage for the next year to deliver the product with the blockchain, gain 40,000 users, register 3,000 children, start our ICO, and relocate to Europe. Thank you.
We're up for questions. So 20 seconds for the teams online.
Okay. So first of all, I think really cool product, but I have a question. I mean, you have different players in the market like Alice or 8coin. How do you differentiate?
Did you hear that? So you have different competitors, like something I haven't heard then?
Alice and
Alice.
8coin.
Got it? Okay.
Okay, so how do we differentiate from those people?
Yes.
The first thing is that we allow the users to be able to track how they've improved the child's life. It's not going to be a big campaign that the people just pay for the campaign and they never know where their money is spent. And this is called the identifiable victim effect, which is something important that there's many research about it. And also by implementing blockchain, we are giving the access to the people to be able to track their transactions, and also using smart contracts, we can help the children who needs the most to be able to receive their funds. And also we are creating this small community for every family, a virtual family, to be able to interact with each other and support the child together.
Okay, we have 2 more questions.
I don't know if you have experience, but when you give out stuff for free, people tend to become greedy. How do you limit or protect people that want to help from maybe the other side that wants to have more and more over time? Or is there any system?
Did you hear that?
Please repeat it now. It's really hard to hear it.
Okay, so when it comes to free money and things like donations and charity, over time, people on the receiving end become less thankful and more greedy. How do you protect yourself and the donor and the acceptor at the same time from these situations?
Okay. Unlike any NGOs or charities, we're not giving the money to the charities. We're giving the money to the social workers who are working with the children. So any social workers would have from 1 to 10 children, working with them. And these social workers have given their lives, and they're not receiving any money because they just wanted to help the world and help the children. And because of that, it's not only that we want to, not track them and not also track the money. We would have our agents, checking on the social workers as well. But the money is easy to be trackable when we have the cryptocurrency and blockchain on our side.
Okay, another question.
So you're mentioning money. Are you transferring fiat money using like crypto rail, or you are using Eternity coins to deliver to these social workers? Because it's an extremely big problem of actually getting money into the hands of remote locations. And I don't know if you have thought about it, because there was no mentions of how cash arrives to these places. It's only cash ecosystems where these people are located.
Did you get that question? So I'm the spokesperson for the audience. So he didn't understand if you are sending fiat money directly to the needy orphans, or are you using cryptocurrencies, are you using Eternity tokens? And how do you make sure that this ends up in the hands of the acceptors? And because that's a major issue and a major obstacle. Can you elaborate a little bit on this?
Okay, sure. One of the good things about our product is that we are not letting people, to send only money tokens. We are allowing to choose the product that they want to send for the child. For example, if a child needs warm clothes, we would allow the users to buy the warm clothes from the affiliate links that we have and send the jackets or anything that's bought online to the children. So most of the time, it's not going to be the money we are sending, but if it's some of the times, if there's a money, for example, there's a need for transportation to a school for some children, and for that kind of thing, we are getting the cryptocurrency is changed to the fiat, and then we're sending it to the social worker. The token, the cryptocurrency is going to the social worker, and the social worker is changing it to a fiat to give it to the child. But we are receiving reports and receipts from every transaction, from every money that's given to the child, and it's going to be clear for the public.
So we have 2 more questions from online. This is again from Charles. It seems that your system requires some sort of an identity management. Is this implemented directly in Eternity or in some other way?
Can you repeat that, please?
Yes. So Charles from the internet, YouTube channel. It seems that your system requires some form of identity management. Is this implemented directly in Eternity or in some other way?
If you're talking about identifying the social workers or the children, every social worker is connected somehow to an NGO, and also we are just like the banks that you can authorize people online. We would have a system to authorize the social workers to be able to track the social workers themselves, and also we're tracking them by the NGO that they're working with as well.
Okay, next question from George Liu. Nice project. Could it be used in some urgent areas such as Syria, and how?
This is a tough question because, to be honest, to be able to answer that, I need to know what exactly is happening in Syria, and I know the political situation there is not very good now. And to be able to do that, we need to first go there, talk to the NGOs, talk to the people in charge in there, and see what's going to happen. But our plan is to first go to Europe to be able to get more donors from there, and then move to places like Syria or any other places that they need the most.
Okay, we have Mark Winner. How to guarantee the transparency of volunteers on the ground, the fund or the material needed to deliver to children by volunteers, because they're the last mile.
Okay. As I mentioned, these guys are not just volunteers, just like any volunteers. They're social workers. They've given their lives for the children and the people without receiving any money. Social workers are the people who receive the very less money from NGOs or any other places. But when we transfer any money to them from the blockchain, we would see where the money is coming from, where the money is going, but also we would have our agents in every NGOs, and those agents are just going to be volunteers for us, working for us, and checking on social workers randomly to make sure all the needs are going to the children. We are receiving the reports, and we're receiving all the detailed needs of the children as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Eksan. Let's have a warm applause for Eksan and Say. Did good. Next team is up. Cryptotasks, please come to the stage. I'm gonna prepare you in a second. Be careful here, I spilled some beer. Don't slip.
We did as well.
Cryptotasks, and
no.
There you go.
Thank you.
Test it. And you have your 5 minutes. Turn it on first. Left.
No.
1 second.
Oh, okay.
Start the clock,
cool,
please.
It works. Okay. Can I go? Okay, hi everyone. I'm Ivan from Team Cryptotask, and this is Vedran. So what we built, decentralized freelancing task market. You might ask what that's for. That's like basically Fiverr on blockchain. So a little bit about us for start. So we was the first DICO, which means decentralized ICO. We did it 6 months before Vitalik mentioned it. DICO is a decentralized ICO where investors can vote for a refund if they're not happy with the project's progress. So we were also audited by Peter Vesenes, who is a Bitcoin Foundation chairman, which is a pretty big thing. And we were covered in leading worldwide media for that and other features, such as Cointelegraph, Forbes, VentureBeat, CNBC even did a report on us, etc. So the freelancing market problems. Freelancing is a huge industry. It's $1 trillion industry which suffers from a lot of problems. For example, huge fees for both freelancers and employers, so up to 30% on centralized systems. So limited task size values. You cannot post a task larger than $10,000, for example. Then task censorship and biased and inefficient disputes, because oftentimes when a freelancer and a job poster cannot agree on the outcome, then centralized company has to intervene, and that's often the cause for biased disputes. So, yeah.
So we solve these issues by offering very low fees, only 3%. There is no limit on the task size. There is no censorship. And we have an effective escrow dispute mechanism, which is powered by smart contract, which basically means that the customer doesn't need to trust us. So all the money is held by the smart contract, which has transparent rules, which are executed automatically. This is really important point when it comes comparing us to other decentralized systems like ETH Lens and BlockLancer, is that we are scalable. I don't have enough time to go into technical details, but this is very hard to achieve in blockchain systems. So it means the system doesn't just work for 20 tasks, it works for 2,000 or 20,000 tasks. And we have a platform already deployed on Ethereum mainnet.
So yeah, a little bit about the business model. So obviously we're charging 10 times lower fees, so just 3% to freelancers and employers. We have much lower overhead, so we can, have like more revenue than centralized systems, even though we're charging like smaller fees. We'll be also white labeling or platform customization for different companies. We'll be earning revenue from dispute resolutions because we are token holders ourselves and we get a cut from each resolution. So we'll be also charging a fee for feature tasks on the platform, which is a normal centralized way of making money. And obviously the token value is increasing with user adoption. Yeah, a little bit about timeline and roadmap.
So just quickly, yeah, to go through the timeline, basically our main focus is now on streamlining the user experience. So what we found out is that, you know, especially when you come to the mainstream audience, people don't want to install MetaMask plugin, they don't want to buy your token, they just want to click a few buttons and use the platform. So that's our main focus in having integrated wallet, and eventually I'll come to that, but also having fiat integration. So also we already wrote basic contract in Sofia. In Q3, we are continuing with client onboarding through partnerships, associations, event sponsorships, airdrops. Also using some æternity features like state channels and oracles. And finally, in Q4, we even want to add fiat integration so that mainstream user can just use a credit card and then all the crypto conversion is done in the background. And also adding some new features based on the customer feedback. This is just part of our contract in Sofia. So what are benefits of deploying on æternity compared, let's say, to Ethereum? Obviously, you have scalability issues on Ethereum, which are solved to a degree, but it's better on æternity. We plan to use state channels. That's obviously great for scalability. Oracles may be added to our dispute mechanism, and we also wrote the first contract version in Sofia.
Yeah, just a little bit about growth forecast based on these things we would implement. So obviously we would break even by Q4 2019 with around 7,000 users. We'll come to that a bit later. So how far we've come, this is really interesting. So we have a collaboration agreement with Croatian Freelance Association, HDMP, who have like 15,000 users, and we will onboard all of them and become their, for example, for their like official platform. We're in process of onboarding other freelancers in Nairobi, Kenya, and we started collaboration with other countries as well. And obviously, the last but not least, our token is listed on top 100 exchange with daily turnover of over $1 million. So shortly about the team, Vedran here, he has a PhD from Cardiff University. He's been in crypto since 2012 and author of the first decentralized strategy game. Klemo, he's also a PhD in University of Zagreb. He's had a Google internship in 2007. And me, I'm an MBA, a decade of experience in leading dev teams, research and development in cryptocurrency since 2013. And actually, I'm a CEO of Noah Softel SC app dev company from Las Vegas. And when you work with some in US, you have some interesting clients. So we did some work for official app for Dan Bilzerian, which got over 2 million downloads. And also an emoji app for Jesse Jane, retired porn star. So yeah, thank you guys. We invite you to join the freelancing revolution. Thanks.
Okay, so moving with the questions, same applies. We have a question there. Do we have a mic? And another one. Mic is coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So.
Yeah, maybe the most obvious question. Did you use your platform yourself to source certain parts of the development of the project?
We didn't, because we kind of had a stable team and yeah, people that we could really easily onboard. But now in this stage, we can definitely use it when we want to expand the team. Yeah.
We are also going to use it.
Yeah.
I have two questions. Which countries are you focusing on at first?
Okay.
And then the second, I mean, your business model kind of aims at the same time getting partnerships, because without partnerships you're not getting users, but without users you're not getting partnerships, okay, which then kind of leads to a really high actually investment amount that is needed.
Okay, so to answer the first question, we already have the partnership with Croatian Freelancers Association, which is 15,000 users, and the onboarding process is really easy because because our architecture is modular, so you have a smart contract in the background, you can have different front ends connected to it. So we will not change, we don't move the users from their platform, we just add new buttons there. So basically 15,000 people will just start using it without knowing there's blockchain in the background. Also, onboarding users doesn't need to be done through partnerships exclusively. We can be just migrating tasks and then offering some airdrops for small tasks just to get people from Facebook groups and freelancing forums. We are also working closely with Nairobi, and because Eternity Hub is there, we are in contact with the president of their blockchain association, and they have a big freelancing hub there, so that gives us access to Africa, and yeah. So we are, these are our, so it's, you could say Croatia, and then neighboring countries, also Africa, but also doing migrating of jobs from all over the world, everything done in parallel.
Okay, we have one more question there.
You had on your slide that there is no censorship on the platform, yet you are taking 3% of the transactions. Don't you feel that there might be some legal implications of these two statements?
Could you maybe elaborate?
Yes.
Where would be the legal?
If someone would like to receive some child porn and you were hosting this.
Okay, that's a great question. So no censorship would refer to what are now gray tasks, which are, let's say, censored. It's like building a scraping bot or something like that. You know, maybe something which could be free speech and all these things. Today, Julian Assange was arrested, so you could say that's one thing where you don't want to have state censorship. But when you want to censor some really hardcore things like these, then we plan to add community management where stakeholders would be able to vote on that.
Yep. Okay. Oh, let's check the internet. The internet says nothing. That means that everything was
super clear.
Super clear. Thank you very much. Okay. Warm applause for Cryptotasks.
Thank you.
And before we continue, we need to set up something here on the laptop. I just want to remind you about two things. First, we have some beers later, so we're going to have some food also. The second thing is we have a voting poll for your favorite team. So I think we posted it everywhere on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Wire, and everything everywhere else. So if you have a favorite team, vote for them. Because they're gonna get a special prize, which I have no idea what it is, but my beautiful colleagues are gonna tell you at the end of this process. And I think we're done. Thank you very much. Next team is Team Cryptic Legends coming from Serbia and Malta. Cryptic Legends, please welcome. And warm applause for Cryptic Legends, please. Well, I set them up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Test your clicker, please. Now you can go.
Okay. Hello. Hello, I'm Nemanja from Cryptic Legends, and I'll be telling you about the game my team is making. But first, did you know that games earn twice as much as movies and music together? They're estimated to reach 165 billion next year. So it's really a great time to make games, right? It's also really hard to make good games. This is why we put a lot of thought at the core pillars that make our game. So what we came up with is a team management game set in a serious fantasy world in which you can develop your characters and trade them with other players. But why these? Well, team management. So a lot of people like to be generals after the battle. Well, why not let them test their theories in our game? Serious fantasy. People love fantasy. But many more consider it a bit childish. Well, add blood and boobs, and suddenly you have 100 million people interested. Character development. So whether we want to admit it or not, all of us are at least a bit narcissistic in our nature. So this is why role-playing games have thrived for such a long time. They let us express ourselves through our heroes. And last but not least is trading. It is only now with the blockchain that we can truly transfer the feeling of ownership and scarcity into the digital world. And this is something that has helped games like Magic the Gathering, physical trading card games, to remain so popular this deep into the digital age. Now, we know our pillars are solid. Another reason why we picked those 4 is because we found a great way to fit them all together. The thing is, the only way to truly know you have a great game on your hands is to actually try it. But an interesting thing happened just recently. Dota Auto Chess came out. It's a game similar, with mechanics similar to ours. And right now they have 7 million players, with 200,000 players playing it at every moment. So this gave us confidence that what we are doing and the way we are doing it is good and we should continue. But let me show you Cryptic Legends. In our game, players will be trading and collecting heroes, unique heroes stored as NFTs on the blockchain network. They will be managing them in teams of 4, using them in automatic turn-based battles against other players, and then based on the outcome of each battle, they can go back and reconfigure their heroes' skills or items in order to refine their strategy. Our main way of income is going to come from sales, direct sales of heroes to players. But blockchain allows us to get a transaction fee on every transaction of heroes between players. This is something that enables us to reach those secondary markets, after markets that was impossible for traditional trading card games. This is our plan. As I already said, the only way to be sure you have a great game on your hands is to test it. This is why we start testing it tomorrow in Dubrovnik on a gaming conference. And we continue doing so through our beta releases and our November pre-sale in order to get ready and have the best possible game for our January release next year. We are a powerful team. We have many years of experience building all kinds of apps on all kinds of platforms. We have published games. We have several blockchain projects behind us. We have entrepreneurial experience. We've managed teams and people. We know what we want to make. We know how to do it. The time is right, as the technology is just here. So let's do it together. Thank you.
Okay, we are open for and the whole crowd is joining. Welcome, Team Cryptic Legends. There's at least 4 more, I think, at home, right?
Yeah.
So, questions. We have 1 question there. Can we have the mic, please? And we have 1. Oh, no.
I was just wondering which parts of the game itself are stored on the blockchain. Is it only the cards or like the whole mechanics and everything?
Yeah, so the heroes. We want to start as light as possible. We'll just have our heroes as NFTs so that we can enable the trade and everything, and so that we can have as little, a small amount of money that we have to charge for our players. We want them to play the game as much as they can and to test it and to try it. But then, as we progress and later, we would have tournaments that we would like to store on the blockchain as well. So that's when we would like to use the state channels and well, he's the CTO here.
And oracles, right? So basically, state channels would provide full transparency of the battles since they're automatic, so nobody can actually doubt the correctness. But that will come later.
Yeah, because with tournaments you have more stakes in it, so it's good to have those on the blockchain as well.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, we have 1 more there. Next time we're going to do that. We're going to get one of those squishy mics.
Will there be a free-to-play version of the game?
Yeah, so the game will be free to play, but you would have to buy the heroes, right? But what we want to do is to start, when you get to the game, you will get like a default set of characters that you can use to see all the mechanics, to experience all the mechanics, and then decide if you want to enter it. What we anticipate to happen, and what we design for, is to have heroes that are like in different prices. So there will be, you can buy a team of heroes for $1 or $2. And start the game, see if you like it, and then decide if you want to, continue and
thanks.
We have another
compete
one,
on a higher
and
level.
then another one. Beautiful lady at the beginning, at the front, and then little gentleman. Yeah. Oh, the other was around. Okay.
All right, I'm sorry for taking your turn. Okay, so this system really reminds me of a very popular PC game called Diablo 3. They had a so-called real money auction house where you could trade digital assets for real money. Actually, what they charged, I think, was 15% of each trade between players. Do you have any idea what you're going to charge between each trade?
4%. We'll start with 4%. So this is our secondary revenue stream. We think our main revenue is going to come from direct sales of heroes. So if you want to play the game, so when we release new heroes, they will have to be bought from us directly, and then you can sell them to other players. And I think I'm not sure if in Diablo you could have money returned to you. Could you sell heroes for real money and then get money back from the game?
You could sell, not directly back to the developer Blizzard, but to other players.
Ah, okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
There.
Oh yeah, my question was like partially what was just asked. So it's kind of a pay-to-play game, and the thing is, as an avid gamer, like people that get in that game and know that someone else with just enough of free time and a lot of money will just like come in and buy the best heroes and just like knock everyone else. Have you thought about that? Like the thing is, you need some critical mass of players there, and it's pretty hard to get it when you have like simply pay to play.
Yes, exactly. So we start building the community early before the release, and we want to do that without charging them, giving them options to get some premium things like customizations that like founder frames or things for the cards in order to convert them to paying customers. But the first thing that you mentioned is like, okay, you can, if you have enough money, you can buy all the best heroes, and then but this will make different levels of competition, right? So on the higher levels of competition where you'll participate in tournaments and stuff like that, you'll be investing more. But you can have as much fun on the lower levels as well, you know, and go slowly with your game.
And another question, it looks awesome, but mainly like when you mentioned all the revenue from generally from games, as far as I know, like most of them are MMORPGs, yeah. PG games that are doing like from my research, like they've been doing like hundreds of games until they get that one that just gives them, like just knocks everyone out, like Clash of Clans or something like that, right? So do you have like a B plan, or that's it and you're gonna just iterate on that version?
I'm not sure.
So the idea is if we don't succeed with this game, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, so I mean, we're all engineers, and what we are building is we build it in a way that we can really reuse it, you know. So I mean, we want to make games, so this is definitely not going to be our first and last game, and I mean, it's already not our first game, so.
So,
okay, just last one. If, for example, in your game, in this one, in the first version, if I invest in some heroes and just it doesn't work, and you make another one, can I transfer my money or whatever your currency will be there to the other game, or whatever I have as like level or whatever I have reached in your game?
Our idea is actually to have other games that would use the same tokens that we store as our heroes. So you would be able to play another game with the same heroes that you have, and possibly they will have similar abilities. So we would store the attributes of the heroes on the network, and then you can interpret them in any way. It can be even cars, you know. So if it was a fast character, it might be a fast car.
The other guy is saying no. So. I have 3 more questions online, but they're kind of answered in one of the questions from the audience. Do you have to buy the game, or is it free and you only earn through trading heroes? That's a yes? Partially yes?
Yeah.
We have Greg, aren't you afraid of pay-to-win models after stories of Fallout 76, Battlefront, etc., etc.?
Yeah, so when we say like more powerful characters. It doesn't mean it's explicitly just powerful in numbers. It might be more interesting to play. It might be more complicated to play. It might provide more depth of play. So it's not exactly pay to win. Of course, if you put more money in any game, even today, for best games, Hearthstone, for example, if you put more money, it's going to be easier for you.
And last question, because we're over time, is Charles, what is your confidence that Eternity will scale to accommodate you if you're really successful? And what key parts of Eternity will help you scale, in your opinion?
So the key part that we believe in is state channels. Regarding the NFTs, we don't see any huge problems with storing the amount of characters on the blockchain. But when we talk about game mechanics, I think state channels are very, very scalable and can help us out quite a bit. What makes us believe this, it's the Eternity team that we met, and we think the progress is really good and that we can make it together.
Thank you very much. I feel so proud now. And this is it from Cryptic Legends. Thank you very much. The next team coming up is, I think, the only lady from the batch. So I would like to hear a really warm applause for Paula from Fashion Project. And in a couple of seconds, I will prepare her presentation. Uh-oh, what did I do? I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to do that again.
Not from behind.
You have the clicker, right? Where's your clicker? This is one of the crazy moments of... Test it, please.
Thank you.
And your 5 minutes is up.
So, let's become a bit more fashionable. Hello? Yeah. We boost innovative fashion to a new generation of customers and enable sustainable growth for aspiring designers. My name is Paula. I'm a fashion designer. I love making clothes. I made my master degree on the top-notch art university. I was interning and working for popular brands, and last year I was mentioned in the German Vogue. But you know what? What?
I need to give you the microphone because you are just malfunctioned.
Okay. Hello? Hello? Yes. Shall I start from the beginning, or is it? Okay. Well, my name is Paula. I'm a fashion designer, and no one gives a fuck. So that's it. Yes. As you might imagine, I'm not alone. I know a lot of young fashion designers who are facing the same problem like me. They are very skilled, they are very talented, and they know how to create, Jesus Christ, they know how to create great products. The problem is, most of them are ignored by the industry, they have no money, and they have no customers. And most of the time, debts from university. No. Okay, so yeah, let's try without whatever. We are facing two main problems. We have, on the one hand, we have designers who don't have customers, and it's not that their products aren't necessary. It's the opposite. We are facing a whole new customers from the generation, from the millennials, with new needs and values. And they don't find products. So instead of sitting any longer in empty showrooms in Paris twice a year, I was thinking about a more contemporary solution. So our solution is an online platform that combines crowdfunding with influencer marketing. It offers influencers a share on the revenue when they attract customers to participate in pre-sales. But first things first, what's the market? The fashion market is worth, without shoes and footwear and jewelry, 1.3 trillion US dollars a year, with an annual growth of 4.4%. 97% of this of this volume belongs to only 20 companies. And beside this, the mid-market segments brands, the small challenger brands, are growing like crazy, but they're not profitable. At the other hand, we have a huge influencer marketing business growth from 100% in the last 2 years. So why now? Why come we now with this solution beside me being super angry about the situation? The brands in all the segments are getting rid of the seasonal cycle. They are manufacturing nearshoring and onshoring instead of offshoring, and because of automation and technological innovations in the production process, and agile made-to-order production is possible more and more. Also, it's no surprise, Generation Y and Z is starting ruling the market. So they are coming with whole new values, and they are much more open to totally boycott brands that don't identify with their values. So how could our product solve this problem? Let's get from this gender-fluid Berlin brand Form, which makes very nice clothes. She is actually also changing from the seasonals to capsule collections. That means from 20 looks the season to 2 looks the month. She's placing her latest sample look on the platform, and via matchmaking over the platform, we find Simone. Simone is a tattoo artist with 30,000 followers, who has really loyal followers, and she is posting Sarah's new look, and becomes immediately 2,000 likes to this. So this helps Sarah making the pre-sales happen. So she can sell her stuff for a much lower price, and generating and financing the production. All this is set up in a smart contract. The visits are registered on smart contract, so that you can track the scalability and the revenue share that Simone gets. So this whole product has a revenue sharing logic built on smart contract and tokenizes the value of the products on brands. But it handles the contributions and payouts in fiat currency to facilitate the mass adoption. From this, we take 10% commission on the revenue split. We charge fees on the blockchain transactions, and we offer concierge services for the designers to get their production done, which is like finding manufacturers and so on. For now, we were kind of really starting 4 weeks ago, thanks to Starfleet, and we found designers who are really interested, and who gave us, 10 of them gave us letters of intent, and 6 already are participating. We have 12 products I was working with them on that are ready for production, so they are ready for pre-sales and for getting boosted by an influencer. And we have a prototype of back-end and front-end, which is really first stadium. So to make this happen, we also have found advisors from the German Vogue. We found a production developer and an influencer marketing expert who are happy to help us. And also it's me, I'm the fashion designer. Our COO is Markus, who's also co-founder from Pharmaco and the Bundesblock. And most of you know him, Philip, full-stack blockchain developer and ex-Ape Unit. And our roadmap, we want to achieve in 3 months an alpha version, and we want to put it online. And we want to put the 10 designers on and the products. And in 6 months, we want to have the MVP online, and the first 3 products shall be shipped to our first customers. For the seed phase, we need 100,000 euro, 20,000, yeah, for the next 6 months to develop the MVP and to grow our community. And as you know, it's a growth platform. So if you give us a seed, you also give growth to everyone who is participating in this network. And what can become worst case out of this? That we have a niche platform for generation Y and Z that is enabling only boutique designers to sell unique pieces, or best case, what we want to achieve, we become a serious player that disrupted the fashion industry that is totally monopolized and with millions of annual revenue, and it's enabling everyone to contribute, and at the end of the day it's also a proof of the value of decentralization. Thanks. Amazing.
Yeah, just a quick one. So if I'm a fashion designer and let's say 3 influencers would promote my pre-sale, how would the tracking work?
How would what?
Tracking. How would I track what kind of influencer gives what kind of impact, so it will be payout according to the smart contract?
Well, this is actually something we are working on right now, which we are trying out, how to connect the data from Instagram and how to outsource it. So this is something that I sat down with Philip, but that would be something, that would be informations that right now are made quite manually with screenshots from the insights of the influencer, but they should be set down in this smart contract and build a deep influencer relationship with the designer.
So I saw that it might take up to 5-6 months for the first products to be delivered, or did I get that correct?
Sorry?
I saw that it takes 5 to 6 months before the first fashion items get delivered, or?
No, our plan is to have like a maximum of 2 months,
okay,
as our customer interviews also kind of showed us that this is the border.
Yeah.
And this is possible.
Okay. No, this is like, for me, it feels like you want some instant result. You might wait for a package, but for 6 weeks to wait for something to be developed, you got to be very patient. But
yeah, I mean the campaigns should not last longer than 1 month, and then the production will take another month.
Okay,
so,
great.
But the production, if it's just a small scale production, can be done much faster because the manufacturers don't have to handle big collections anymore, and they're happy to fill their gaps.
Yeah, I like the project a lot, by the way. So
thank you.
So, Relief from Online is asking, is this product limited to influencers of top brands, or will it be crossing over to other sectors like second-hand clothes, which are million-dollar businesses in Africa? So is this haute couture, how do you call it, or? I
don't really understand the comparison with also second-hand, because so our first designers, they all have to be, they all have to have kind of a quality. So the designers I was choosing now, I was asking myself the question, do they know their target group? Do they know, their niche? Do they know who they are? And also, of course, a very important question for me was, do they know how to produce their stuff? And I mean, at the end, of course, it shall be open for as much as designers as possible, but I don't see the secondary market in this right now.
Good. So this is for new fashion designers coming up, only for you helping them produce their first lines?
Yeah, and to grow and yeah. Okay. And to stay big also on our side.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, we have Vince. No, it's great.
So from a sense of a scale, like for a boutique designer to make a sustainable living out of it, like how many campaigns and units do they need to do in a year, for example?
How many campaigns they do per, well, they do campaigns per product.
Yeah.
So they set up campaigns as often as they put products on the site. And they are free to decide how often they do this. And I mean, some products will be more successful, some products will be less successful, and this is also very important information to lead the designers to their top sellers and to give them feedback to what are they good in and what not.
Okay,
This
thank you.
Answering the question, kind of. Okay.
Yeah, a bit. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Paula. Okay, thanks for having me, and yeah.
Thank you very much. Last but not least, we have Instatrust, who are joining us from Caracas. And we are going to see if we were lucky or not. Yesterday, I had a power blackout. Today, we were delayed a little bit. And Juan Carlos. Oh, you're here. Hello. Can you hear us? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
So you are ready to go whenever you want to share your screen? Yes, we can see you. You're
okay.
Good to go.
Okay.
Share the screen.
Okay.
We're going to give them a minute. I just came back online, so you just need to click on the share screen and you should be ready to go.
Okay, we're trying to share the screen. Just give me a second.
Okay, sure. So, anybody knows a good joke? I don't know. But I just want to say I never pick favorites and I never discriminate. But we had many teams. Oh, we're here. So just to finish the story. So since this is a decentralized, distributed thing, we allow people from all over the world to participate. The only rule that we have is mandatory participation. So we had a couple of teams that were participating with 6 hours time difference. We were starting at 9 in the morning, which was their 3 in the morning. So for a week, 7 days, constantly, the whole team were waking up and they had shifts all around the clock just to be able to participate and learn and build. And this is one of the most impressive feats that I've seen, not only with Instatrust, but also some other teams. So for me, that's a very, very big plus. So if you're ready, I'm going to stop blabbing and allow you to present. Are you ready?
Thank you for those kind words. We appreciate it down here. Okay, if you're ready and you can hear me, I'll go ahead. Okay, so we're Instatrust, and we use æternity's blockchain technology to secure P2P trades. I want to ask you one question. What is the one thing you have to have when doing business? Amazon, eBay, Alibaba, and Mercado Libre spend thousands of hours designing a way to achieve this. Well, it's trust. Without it, marketplaces and even personal relations would perish. And apparently, Abend and Isay also. Nowadays, you have two options. You can do it-yourself trades, where there is high potential for fraud. It's direct but risky because you don't know your counterpart. And obviously, it's cheap but uncertain that it's going to pull through. On the other hand, you have escrow services. Of course, they offer a certain level of protection and security, but you have to move your money from one platform to another, implying multiple fees and, of course, a waste of time. The solution, well, imagine a tool that you would be able to know right off the bat if a person you're doing business with is trustworthy. A tool that allows to set a contract backed up by collateral to protect any P2P trade that would be direct and 100% secure. I'll explain to you very briefly how it works. Basically, we use a simple yet effective method possible to, thanks to æternity's blockchain technology, and more specifically, thanks to the state channels that allow putting on hold tokens equivalent to the value of the assets being traded. In other words, you set up a collateral. Our main revenue stream is pretty straightforward, and it's a pay-per-usage kind of scheme where we charge a 0.75% of the amount secured to each of the parties involved in a trade. Of course, we already have, screened the users that will use our platform through KYC registration policies, double authentication factors, and to avoid money laundering, initially we will set a maximum of $500 per transaction limit. And of course, we will penalize people that intend to use this platform to do fraud. The Instatrust web and app platform have another one of our trademarks is our business model. And that we will be able to attend not only affiliated users that will trade in a direct and safe manner with other users of the platform, but we will also service non-affiliated users through authorized parties that will do trades on their behalf. This opens a new set of opportunities, like, for example, remittances. Up to now, in these 4 short weeks, we were able to have a pre-registered database of users that are willing to try our platform, and we migrated our contracts to the æternity testnet, and we have a working prototype in its initial forms, but it's working already. We have some great ways to grow, as you can see here. Of course, our crypto users are our natural market because they are proven early adapters, but we also forecast a great opportunity to grow in the remittance market. And once we have all the pieces together, people will be able to use our app in ways that we can only imagine. Personal loans guarantees, sport bets, friendly ones, of course, and at some point in the near future, even as an enabler to B2C and B2B trades. Our team is, of course, and I think at this point, it's driven by passion and achieve goals and, of course, dreams, because that's what this world is made of. The milestones that we can show you up to this point is, well, we're very proud of being able to migrate our contracts to Sophia and to the testnet. We will be reaching our MVP in a very short period of time. We estimate a couple of months. And from that point on, we'll do like a soft marketing launch, so we can test waters and see how people react to this new platform. We are very eager to have our mobile app, enabling people to just take it anywhere and do whatever they want with it. We want to see what people can do with their imagination. And in the second quarter of 2020, we would have like a full market launch with web and app services. And of course, down the road, we will try to franchise and secure alliances with platforms that are already marketplaces like Amazon or like Alibaba that will use our technology as another way of securing trades on the platforms. To this point, we're looking for an 18-month financing to reach 20,000 active users on the platform, and we should should be able to be trading about $2 million in our platform with those 20,000 users. That's all. This is Instatrust, and we secure P2P trades.
Okay, so, oh, a little bit too big. Okay, so do we have one question and we have another one. So listen very carefully.
Maybe I missed something, like the sound wasn't great, but how does your project differ from the project that actually are doing atomic swaps? Like you have the same problem, trustless transactions, and that's what they're like solving. How does your project differ from atomic swap projects?
Did you get that part? Let me repeat it. So how does Instatrust differ from atomic swaps or projects using atomic swaps?
Oh, how do we differ from atomic swaps? Okay, yes. Well, basically, we're trying to differentiate from the escrow market, okay? Where when you use an escrow, the escrow is in the middle of the trade. What we would be doing is more like a state channel, enabling people to interact directly while we stand aside just overseeing the trade. And well, atomic swaps are basically from crypto to crypto. I think it hasn't gotten the point to use crypto to fiat and fiat to fiat. And our methodology, because our tool, the only thing that does is that oversees that the trade goes smooth. That's it. And we're not in the middle of it.
Does that answer your question a little bit, or maybe I can clarify? Yeah. There still?
Working projects. There are still like projects that are doing something similar. I just didn't get that you're doing also fiat to crypto and back, and also where the trade does come there, in that, like if it's not a currency in general, not fiat, not crypto.
Yep. Did you get that?
No. Please.
So the question was, there's also, I mean, she didn't understand that part that you also do fiat to crypto, and but where does the trade coming? Where is the trade coming from? So.
Where is the trade coming? No, the trade is directly from the parts. I mean, we're just standing on one side, overseeing the trade, and parts interact directly. They can do their business directly, and as long as the contract doesn't get a signal from one of the parties that something went wrong, it's an optimistic contract that will stand aside and just let people do their business by themselves.
Okay, you got that? Or you just started off asking questions? We can continue. Okay. Yeah, we're having some issues with the sound quality, but I think the message got through. Let me check if there is anyone online asking questions. We have no. So if there is no more questions, I think I hear a beer call. And thank you very much, Instatrust. So if you want, while we have a break and you really want to understand this, just come by here and talk to Juan Carlos, you know, face to face. Just step to the laptop. So we're going to take a break to do a couple of things to actually calculate the votes that you have been voting. And my beautiful colleague Eli is going to come to stage together with the other beautiful colleague Mattia, to tell to the teams what they have won by voting, and then we're going to come back and pronounce the final results of the whole process. Thank you very much. The beers are getting cold. You can grab some. We're back in a short while.
Another way. To fall asleep, to fall deep.
Luca. Ooh. Woohoo. Dun dun dun. Do 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 do. Yes. To lock the door. So we're starting again. Let me ping into the group. Ooh. Yes, one second. Okay, hopefully it was not for too long. Last time we did 3 hours almost. How much time has passed? Oh, this time we were a little bit more faster. Is the stream back online? Yes, it is. Okay, good. So we're gonna kick off. But before kicking off, what do you want to do? My screen is being seen here. On the big screen. Okay. So, yeah. Give me a second, a couple of last minute preparations until we see. Hello, people of internet. Have you joined us? Ehsan, Mustafa, Ivan, HayTax. Okay. Can you ping the teams to come online? We're not here. Ooh, shit, sorry. Ignore that, please. So, we're kicking off again. Before we start, we have a couple of announcements. You have, everybody voted here, right? For the favorite teams. You did? Very good. And there's a big reason why. We have a couple of things that we wanted to do. But first, can I have all the teams, all the team members join me on the stage, please? And warm applause from everyone else. Woo! And we're still missing HayTax and Instatrust. So if you can notify them, please, to join, that would be great. Oh, many, many people. Woohoo! Okay, so we're still not going to announce yet, but before we start, we have one thing. So the votes that my beautiful colleague Eli is going to now put on screen. So we're going to see the first results on my screen here. So, yes, do your magic. The votes were, they're supposed to be used for two things. The first thing, I'm going to ask my colleague Mattia from House of Blockchain. Warm applause for Mattia, please. To say a couple of words and tell us what is this prize about and how did we get up to the winner.
So hi, good evening. My name is Mattia. I'm the House of Blockchain manager in Liechtenstein. The House of Blockchain is Eternity's blockchain co-working space. And our goal is to fill up our co-working space with AE startups. And in order to do that, we thought we'd give away 1 month of free rent in our co-working space in Liechtenstein and to the winner of the Community Choice Award. All right, are you ready? Okay, so yeah, well, you can see the result, right?
I'm really sorry.
All right, okay, then Cryptic Legends, come up here.
It's my fault again.
Congrats.
Okay.
Prize is done.
So Liechtenstein is this beautiful village in the Swiss Alps. You're going to love it.
Now you have to.
And I did it again. What can I say? I am the master of anticlimax. So before we continue the vote, let me ask Nico to join me on the stage to guide you through the next of the process, because this is, so that's not the only awards that we decided to give out. Nico, you want to tell us what the other part is?
Yeah, sure. So now comes the, let's say, more, not interesting, but more emotional part. And I think now is the moment where you guys can actually get off the stage so you can sit down. Otherwise, probably you're going to fall down and faint.
No, but that's
so get off.
But no. No, but yeah.
Yeah, I love those awkward moments, honestly. I swear, it's like one of my favorite things. But actually, this community vote was something that we implemented last year because our goal, obviously, is to get our entire community, friends, family, and everybody as much involved as possible. Because, I mean, after all, we're a decentralized blockchain platform, and decentralization pretty much is also the community that you work with, that you build with, that supports you, and that sticks with you all the time. So, in preparation of the next Starfleet batch that we're hopefully going to run very soon, we ran this community vote where over 1,000 people actually voted this time, which I'm very, very happy about. And so first of all, big applause for everybody who voted. And we would love to see that in the next Starfleet batch that we have an actual application where people can properly vote, stake, and then through a smart contract pay out tokens to the people depending on what kind of percentage they receive. So to start this off, we hadn't planned this, if I have to be honest with you. We just decided this in the other room, that we are going to take 10,000 AE tokens and we're going to distribute them marginally to the people and how they actually won in the community vote. So congratulations to every one of you. Actually, I really like this part, honestly.
Let me bring the teams online. So Cryptic Legends, say HayTax. Everybody's going to get some tokens.
Yeah, everybody's going to get tokens.
Nikola is drunk, giving out free tokens. Work?
Not yet. Maybe later tonight, not yet. But yeah, now comes the part that falls on me. So where we're going to talk actually how things are going to develop. And just so that everybody has a status quo and knows what comes next. The teams that we do choose to move forward, we're going to sit down in the process. And as a next step, we're going to start the negotiation process, hopefully get it through as quick as possible, continuously support them, hopefully reach an agreement as quick as possible, and then set the milestones where we're going to deploy funds into the startups in order to help them grow, hopefully to become all unicorns. The projects that we do not choose to move forward with will still get like a nice follow-up and everything that comes with that, and we'll get proper kind of tool back and our support in order to know how to move forward and how to get where you want to go in the near future. So without further ado, I'm getting to it because I think the beer is getting warm again outside for the people here. And there is no kind of order how we chose them or something like this. So when I call you up, it's not first, second, third, or fourth. It's about who continues and who still needs a little bit more time to work, because I don't think there's any losers tonight. So again, I would like to ask everybody to give a big applause to all the teams that were here. Okay, so let's get to it. The first team that we chose and we saw grow incredibly over the last couple of weeks, and we're very much looking forward to move forward with them, is actually Cryptic Legends. Woo! So big applause. It's always a very emotional moment, honestly. Like, I just need a moment here. The second team that we choose to move forward would be Abend, so congratulations to that.
For me, it's good.
Again, need a moment. Luca, get over here, seriously.
I'm here.
Forgot half already. Okay. So next team, sorry, I'm horribly jet lagged, apologies for that. The next team that is moving forward is a team which managed to pretty much migrate almost the entire project to Eternity in no time, and that would be Cryptotask. Woo! It looks good already. But I think there's one more team missing. Huh? Why don't you start getting some more women into crypto and blockchain, Stefan, for Christ's sake? You know, I'm working on it. Takes time. But the last team that we would like to call up here was one of the teams that pretty much blew my mind in the beginning already. And I really want to see what they're going to do next. So I would like to call up Homeport.
Yeah, sure. So for everyone else, like Nico said, we're going to sit down a little bit later together with you, and we're going to have a conversation on how to help you reach your point. For everyone else, we're going to start the tough investment negotiation process. We already started that. We're already halfway, but we wanted to pass this point in order to go. This involves timelines, roadmaps, terms, and the amounts. And I would like to thank everyone who came here and everybody who followed us online. And I pronounced this year's Starfleet batch over. Thank you very much. We're going to do the photos a little bit later. Last but not least, we have still some food left, and we're going to go to Bar Friday, or Petek. I have no idea where it is, but I hear there's some good beers there. And we're going to continue the celebration, networking, and everything else tonight. We have some guests came from a long, long way, and hope you're going to join us. We're going to start there from when? From 9? From 9 and then forward. And now, before you go, we're going to take a group picture. Please join me. All teams, please join us. And yes, also from the streams. Nico, all the team. Come on, Eternity people, don't let me beg. Živko? Živko left. No. No, he's here. No, that's not Živko. Watch out, I did the same twice. I almost fallen off the stage twice today. I don't know how to, yeah. Like footballers. Oh, yeah. Blockchain! Okay, come on. Yeah. Guys, we're going to get in touch as soon as we calm down a little bit. Continue talking. It's not over until the fat lady sings. At least this part. Momsi, I'll check it.